people who really need the most ask the least. And people who don't need as much are the ones who tend to ask the most. So I was really interested in finding the most marginalized families who have so much dignity that they really weren't going to go put their hand out. That's the door I wanted to knock on.
What I like most about working for Zaman is the fact that you can help people when they're in crisis situations, and you can be the relief that they did not expect.
The goal is to be able to provide resources that are not being provided, and to provide hope in ways that people do not have hope for yet.
That's what Hope for Humanity is. It's a positive face. It's caring and sharing and being dependable to people in crisis.
All human beings are part of one human race, and we don't believe in differentiating that. It's all the same. So if you're in need, I'm here to help you. And if I'm in need, I hope that you're here to help me.
Because I'm in hijab, the assumption is that this is an organization for Muslims, by Muslims, that type of thing. And it's not. It's a humanitarian organization.
It's one thing to talk unity, but it's another to really see it in action. And I think that's what Zaman International has been able to demonstrate in a short period of time.
It's good that we can all help in the community and do good deeds to help other people.
If you look around the world and where all the trouble and the hotspots, usually those are people who are desperate. And if we can help eliminate some of that desperation, we can't help but improve our own plight.
At Zaman International, I've often said, especially to our board and to our volunteers, that part of this work is being the voice for the voiceless. Zaman International is not here to replicate or duplicate other services that are already being done in our community. To me, that's a waste of our resources. It's to find the niches in the community to build capacity where capacity is not yet being built. And we do that through collaboration and finding projects that no one else is doing.
3 years after our formalization of the organization, Zaman has 7 programs: Plots for Tots for infant burial, B.O.S.T for refugee resettlement, the Interfaith Ambassador Program for interfaith dialogue and reconciliation, the KEEP program to teach children peace and peace-building skills, the LEAP program to take those children and young adults into leadership for active peace, the B.O.S.T program, which is for marginalized women to teach them vocational training and literacy, and then our food bank project.
Of all the services that Zaman offers, I would say the one that's nearest to my heart would be the B.O.S.T program. That's a program where you can see results immediately. People come to you, they need shelter, they need clothing, they need help with their rent assistance, they need to be able to help with their medical bills, they need some guidance as far as their medicine is concerned. This is daily living, and it's difficult for these people to move forward unless these needs are met.
Another program that is very interesting to me for Zaman and very beneficial to our community is the B.O.O.S.T program, where we try to help women who have been marginalized in their lives get back to work and become productive members of society, where they can get back on their own feet and stand up for themselves.
We really screen the people who we do help to be sure that they're willing to help themselves. And in fact, then they come back into our organization and they begin to volunteer and help out because someone has helped them.
Who you helping? You know who you're helping with this money? Huh? Do you know who? Are you helping kids to eat?
In Michigan, with our economy the way it is, and layoffs at some of the different automakers, a lot of people who might not necessarily have been in need before are hitting rough times and are having a hard time putting food on their tables. It's important for us who haven't necessarily been hit as hard by this economy to reach out to those who have been.
You know, it's very humbling to do this part of the food drive. It just makes you appreciative and thank God that you have what you have. You know, there's an old saying that I cried I had no shoes until I saw a man who had no feet.
No, we don't have anyone. And yeah, I told you, I feel alone, like family. I found someone is supporting me with everything.
A lot of times you give money to organizations, you don't know where the money is exactly going. In this organization, if you give money, you donate your time, your finances, your resources, your food, your clothing, you know exactly where it's going because you believe in the leadership that Zaman has.
We're looking at fulfilling a niche in this area where foods would be culturally appropriate and satisfying and nutritious for families who come from various diverse backgrounds. I've never liked this idea that this food for faith idea, that I will feed you and then you take on this particular faith because I fed you. I believe that's a human injustice. We should be able to take care of people for the sake of taking care of people, no matter what culture or faith that they belong to.
We have the Plots for Tots program, which I feel very passionate about giving those who don't have a voice for themselves an opportunity to be buried with dignity.
This project has never been tackled, nor the idea ever came up by anyone in this area.
The vision would be that Plots for Tots would not only be just for infant burial services, but to be able to provide family the bereavement support services that they would need through counselors who were trained in bereavement and grief, but specifically counselors or health professionals that were culturally competent and spiritually sensitive to the needs of our different families. Two critical incidences happened which led to beginning Plots for Tots. One of which was finding 222 infant fetuses in a hospital laboratory that were stored on a shelf in jars and tubs. And they were because these fetuses were left, either they were aborted fetuses or unclaimed fetuses the hospital did not know what to do with. And that was traumatic for me. And the second was taking care of an infant baby that was dying of cancer, and the family had no money to bury this baby. And that's because Medicaid, and many of the families are Medicaid recipients, receive only $75 to $100 for an infant burial, and that just simply doesn't cover the cost.
At this point, we're in negotiations with the cemeteries and with the funeral homes to try to get reduced rates and to try to secure land for future burials.
It's exciting for me because it's the first time that I'm able to come here and to see stakes in the ground and orange flags that are actually marking where the Zaman International Plots for Tots project will be. And we're in the process of looking for funding, but to be able to see and visualize where the marker would be, how many babies could actually be buried on this sacred ground, it's encouraging.
To lose a child is an unbearable, unspeakable event, but to lose a child and not to have the funds to care for its last needs, it's unimaginable.
I lost 2 babies myself, and I was never able to bury those babies. And the reason that I couldn't bury the babies was because the hospital never thought to ask if I wanted to, and I was never knowledgeable enough, even as a nurse, to know that I had the option to. So it became really critical to me as a patient and as a nurse that patients and moms, specifically parents, would know their rights in health care. And so maybe in some ways this is a tribute to the 2 that we could not bury.
there's so much going on, and one of the key factors is our establishing a home, an actual facility, a brick and mortar place that we can then take that venue and work all of our programs through it.
We have a lot of projects on the burner that we want to expand upon. In order for us to expand upon that, we need a headquarters.
Other programs that we're hoping to do is kind of create this village, campus style that would have all of our services, whether it's an orphanage, senior village, medical help, shelter for women, this intergenerational mix of people helping one another.
I have no doubt in my mind Zaman will be world class. It's going to be a leader in this kind of care for everybody, not just in the United States, but internationally.
Well, you know, out of tragedy comes triumph, always. I believe that, you know. You can cry about a lot of things in life, but it's about pulling yourself up and doing something about it so that it doesn't happen to somebody else.
Zaman really encompasses a far greater mission, and that mission really is the enhancement of the human spirit. And the best way to enhance the human spirit is to enhance self-esteem. And by enhancing self-esteem in the people that we live with really creates a much more even playing field for everybody to be successful in this world.
And I think, you know, what Zaman does is makes people feel very comfortable and comes right in and it allows people to really be themselves, for themselves, but not by themselves.
There's a beautiful saying that I grew up with, and it's that I may not share you in my faith tradition, but we share a humanity. So you may not be my brother or sister in faith, but you are my brother or sister in humanity.
So this is an exciting time for people to join us, to work with us, regardless of belief and faith. As long as you believe that it's important to help others who are disadvantaged, then this is a great organization to be aligned with.
The word Zaman means time, and it's about the past, the present, and the future. It's about what we will do with our time as stewards on earth. And so it was given the title Zaman to really get people to think about what will you do with your time? How will you serve humanity?